Sophia and Ethan had been together for a year, filling their days with laughter and love. Sophia was a bright and warm person. She had curly, chestnut hair that danced around her face when she moved. Her biggest strength was her ability to see the good in everyone. She made friends easily and always reached out to help those in need. However, her kindness sometimes made her vulnerable. When she cared deeply, she feared being hurt, which sometimes held her back from fully opening her heart. Ethan was handsome with short, dark hair and a charming smile. He was smart and had a strong sense of humor that made Sophia laugh often. His emotional strength came from his ability to communicate openly. Whenever something bothered him, he would talk about it openly with Sophia. But sometimes, Ethan found it hard to express deeper feelings, like sadness or fear. He would sometimes put on a brave face, thinking that it would protect both him and Sophia. They met during college, at a coffee shop where Sophia worked. Ethan had stumbled in while distracted by his phone, spilling coffee on his shirt. Sophia had giggled, helping him clean up, and they quickly fell into easy conversation, discovering a shared love for classic movies. As they deepened their relationship, they built a strong emotional foundation, motivated by mutual trust and respect. They often spent weekends exploring local parks or cooking together, sharing their hopes and dreams. Yet, as time passed, topics like future plans or deeper personal needs sometimes stirred a quiet tension between them. Both craved a stronger connection, but fears from their pasts lingered. Would they be able to face these challenges head-on? As the warm days of summer turned into the colorful shades of autumn, a subtle shift began to weave through Sophia and Ethan's relationship. Sophia felt a flutter of worry growing in her heart. It started with the little things. Ethan had been coming home late from work more often, and when he finally got home, he would sit quietly on the couch, staring at the TV without really watching anything. At first, she thought he was just tired from long days at the office, but the quiet moments turned into weeks. She could sense a growing distance between them, an invisible wall that seemed to rise higher with each passing day. "Ethan, is something bothering you?" Sophia would ask, her voice soft and caring. But each time, Ethan would shrug it off with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "No, I'm fine. Just a long day," he would reply. Sophia knew it wasn't just a long day. She recognized the telling signs of his deepening silence. He talked less about his day, and instead of sharing laughs or dreams, the conversations had become short and routine. When she reached for his hand while watching a movie, he didn't grab it like he used to. Instead, he would let his hand slide away, leaving her feeling empty. One Saturday evening, they sat across from each other at their dining table, half-finished plates of pasta between them. On the surface, everything looked normal, but the atmosphere felt thick with unspoken words. Sophia decided it was time to address her worries directly. "Ethan, I love you, and I feel like we are growing apart. I just want to know what you're feeling. Can we talk about it?" she said, her voice trembling. Deep down, she prayed he would open up to her. Ethan sighed heavily, his fingers nervously tracing patterns on the tablecloth. Sophia could see uncertainty flashing in his eyes. I don't know, Em. I feel overwhelmed sometimes. Work is tough, and sometimes I don't know how to talk about what's bothering me," he admitted quietly, his voice wavering. At that moment, her heart ached for him. They were both struggling but in different ways. Sophia longed for connection, but Ethan seemed to retreat deeper into silence. "We can figure it out together, Ethan. You don't have to hide away from me. I'm here for you," she said with gentle encouragement. Yet, as the words left her lips, she felt a wave of frustration swelling inside. She wanted to support him, but felt a pang of helplessness. Why was he pushing her away? Feeling trapped by her own limitations, Sophia took a step back to reflect on her approach. Misunderstandings led to spinning thoughts in her mind. Was Ethan falling out of love, or was he just afraid? The weight of her unvoiced fears soon mixed with her worries about his silence, creating a storm of self-doubt. She wished she could read his mind and understand exactly what he felt. Meanwhile, Ethan seated across from her felt the burden of his own thoughts. He cared for Sophia deeply but had always struggled with sharing his emotions. He thought he was protecting her by keeping his feelings inside. He knew he should open up but feared that expressing vulnerability would burden her instead. The emotional wall he built was meant to shield himself, but unexpectedly, it also kept Sophia out. As the evening stretched on, the silence became more pronounced, and both could sense the distance growing. Sophia wondered if they were destined to drift further apart, even as her heart ached to bridge that gap. While each attempted to reach for understanding, the unspoken feelings began to form a heavy cloud over their once easy conversations, leaving uncertainty hanging thick in the air about what the future of their love might hold. As October approached, the sound of leaves crunching beneath their feet filled the air, yet the tension between Sophia and Ethan felt like a heavy weight. His silence continued, and she noticed he was now spending more evenings out with friends. While Sophia understood that everyone needed time with friends, she couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy rise within her. Why did he seem so eager to leave? Had work really been so stressful, or was there something more, something he wasn't telling her? One Friday night, Sophia attended a small gathering at a friend's house. It was meant to be fun, a chance to relax and forget her worries. But as she laughed with friends, her thoughts kept drifting to Ethan. Had he gone out with his coworkers again? The longer she thought about it, the more anxious she felt. What if he was sharing laughter and connection with someone else? Images of him smiling widely with another woman prickled at her heart. Afterwards, as she returned home, Sophia's emotions bubbled over. When Ethan greeted her with his usual smile, she felt a spark of sadness surge within her. "I went to Jess's party tonight." "Where were you?" she asked, trying to keep her tone light. But as soon as the words left her mouth, she felt a wave of regret wash over her. Ethan's smile faded, and he looked unsure. "I was just out with some mates after work." "I didn't think it was a big deal," he replied, defensively. Sophia recoiled a little at his words, sunken frustration forming a barrier between them. Did he not understand how lonely she felt when he pulled away? "I just miss spending time with you. It feels like you're going out more and more. I thought we were supposed to support each other." She felt tears welling, but she didn't want to cry. Instead, she fought to keep her voice steady, though it trembled slightly. Ethan's expression changed. Now it was filled with a mix of confusion and annoyance. "I'm not trying to push you away, Sophia. You know there are times I need to unwind too. Can't I be with my friends without causing a problem?" His words stung, and the distance felt wider than ever. They both knew that previous wounds were surfacing, a mix of insecurities and fears from unmet emotional needs. Ethan often felt pressured to provide the perfect support for Sophia, and now, feeling cornered, he shut down. Similarly, Sophia's own past of feeling abandoned when her needs were ignored flared up, clouding her judgment and pushing her toward frustration. In the following days, a heavy air hung over their interactions. Each tried to ignore the growing divide, but the tension festered like a hidden bruise. Sophia kept replaying their argument in her mind, wondering if she had overreacted. Curiously, a part of her forgot this was supposed to be a journey of trust and honesty between them. Instead of telling Ethan how she felt, she found herself withdrawing, trying to protect whatever little connection remained. Meanwhile, Ethan felt guilty for the misunderstanding but believed he was taking the right approach by keeping his distance. Yet inside, he hated that Sophia might feel alone. He could not shake the deep-rooted fear of disappointing her. Instead of confronting these emotions, he found himself distracted, indulging in late-night escapades with friends rather than facing the reality that they needed to communicate. Days turned into quieter nights filled with heavy pauses. Each flicker of discontent threatened to topple their relationship even further, yet deep down, both Sophia and Ethan longed for connection and understanding. What started as small moments of insecurity now stood tall like a mountain between them, waiting for the first small victory that could push them toward healing and deeper trust. As November rolled in, the chill in the air mirrored the growing coldness between Sophia and Ethan. What had started as quiet discontent slowly transformed into feelings of resentment. One evening, as they prepared dinner together, the simmering tension boiled over. Sophia had been trying to engage Ethan in conversation, but he seemed lost in thought, chopping vegetables without focus. Ethan, can you at least pay attention to me while we cook? Sophia's words slipped out sharper than intended. She watched the knife in his hand stutter in motion, and the room fell silent. What do you want me to say? Ethan shot back, annoyance glimmering in his eyes. Every time I turn around, you're criticizing me. I'm just trying to help here. Sophia sighed heavily, frustration welling up inside. I'm not criticizing you. I just feel like something is off between us. You act so distant. Do you even care what I think anymore? Energy crackled in the air, the tension so thick it felt overwhelming. Ethan clenched his jaw tightly. You're always worried about how I feel. What about me? You seem disappointed every time I want to have some time for myself. Maybe I just need a little space. Her heart sank at his words. Space? That's what you call it? Running away to your friends while I sit at home feeling lonely? Are we even in the same relationship? Tears pricked the corners of her eyes, but she blinked them back. She wanted him to hear her, but each word felt heavier than the last. I am not running away, Sophia. I need to relax after working so hard all week. Sometimes I just need a break from all these conversations about feelings. His voice raised, shockwaves echoing in the small kitchen. The hurtful words hung in the air, charging the moment with raw emotion. An aching silence enveloped them, causing Sophia to turn away. She felt wounds crack open, deep-rooted fears spilling out. Back in school, she had a friend who ghosted her whenever he felt overwhelmed. The memory tugged at her heart. I thought you cared about me, she whispered, her voice trembling with pain. Ethan, now regretting his outburst, felt the taste of bitterness in his mouth. He had lashed out instead of admitting his fears of failing Sophia. I do care. But every time I try to enjoy myself, it feels like I'm letting you down. You make me feel guilty for wanting to unwind. Guilty? You think I want you to feel guilty? She wrapped her arms around her body, wishing to shield herself from his words. Sophia felt a suffocating cloud of sadness forming. I only want you to be present, Ethan. But all I see is you pulling away. With emotions swirling and shadows of misunderstanding growing larger, they remained caught in a heated cycle of hurt. Each small exchange spiraled into a storm, where shimmering love soon turned bitter, leaving them both disheartened. Each fight stained their connection a little deeper, and they felt like strangers sharing the same home. As boiling anger and waves of sadness weathered their words, both Ethan and Sophia realized their compatibility was being tested like never before. In the fiery moment of conflict, it seemed all they could see were each other's weaknesses, and the love they once cherished felt dimmed by insecurity. The night after their heated argument felt endless for both Sophia and Ethan. Sophia curled up on the couch, staring out the window at the darkened street below. She felt the weight of shame settle on her shoulders. Pushing away Ethan hadn't been her intention. Sitting in silence, the memories of their conversation looped through her mind like a broken record. Did she really make him feel guilty for wanting time for himself? The thought churned in her gut, leaving her feeling hollow. Feeling restless, she grabbed her journal from the bookshelf. It had been some time since she last wrote in it. As she opened the cover, she let her pen dance across the pages, pouring out her heart. I miss how things used to be, she wrote. Why can't I just find the right words? I'm scared of losing Ethan. What if he's done trying? With each sentence, tears fell freely. She recognized her fears of abandonment swelled like a rising tide, shifting her perspective. It struck her suddenly. She was so consumed by what she felt that she hadn't fully understood Ethan's side of things. Sophia lingered on the truth that both of them were struggling. Meanwhile, Ethan sat alone in a nearby coffee shop, nursing a mug of coffee that had long cooled. He gazed out the window, watching people pass by, deep in thought. Mindlessly stirring the drink, he replayed their argument over and over in his head. It was frustrating, but he needed to come to a conclusion. Had he been too focused on his need for solitude that he overlooked Sophia's feelings of isolation? Questions surged in his mind. He remembered how she'd always encouraged him to share his emotions, and yet here he was, retreating into silence. Ethan reached for his phone and scrolled through his contacts. he decided to call his best friend, David. "Hey man, do you have a moment?" he asked, his voice heavy with worry. "Sophia and we had a big fight last night, and I just feel lost." As David listened, Ethan began pouring out his frustrations. "I want to enjoy time with my friends and unwind, but every time I do, I feel like I'm pushing her away." He paused, an uncomfortable feeling settling in. "But maybe I am." David encouraged him to think deeper about his feelings. "It sounds like you both want the same thing, to feel connected while balancing your needs," he said gently. "Love is about understanding and compromise. Sometimes we have to bend to keep from breaking." That simple piece of advice resonated with Ethan, slowly breaking through the fog of frustration that clouded his vision. The realization hit him: he didn't want to lose Sophia. If he didn't open up, they might just drift apart. Later, as he returned home, he found Sophia finishing her journal entry. For a moment, their eyes met, and the air grew thick with unspoken emotion. They both seemed to carry the weight of regret, seeking clarity without knowing how to express it. That night, they both realized something essential: they needed to focus on their relationship instead of allowing their individuality to confuse their bond. Both Ethan and Sophia were tired of feeling frustrated and disconnected, and they were both beginning to understand that this could either be a breaking point or a moment of insight. Could they really find a way to connect again if they started to open up, share their fears, and truly listen? The uncertainty loomed large, but the glimmer of hope whispered amidst the shadows. The following morning, a cool breeze wafted through the open window, carrying with it a sense of quiet determination. Sophia woke with a heavy heart. She thought about the previous night and the flood of emotions that surrounded her and Ethan. She realized she couldn't stand the idea of letting anger push them further apart. While she was still uncertain about the conversation ahead, she sensed that it was time to take action. When Ethan entered the kitchen, he looked tired but determined. Their eyes met, and Sophia felt the familiar ache return, but there was also a glimmer of possibility. In that moment, she knew they were both ready to make a change. Heart pounding, she took a deep breath. "Ethan," she started, her voice steady yet gentle, "I want to talk. I don't want us to lose what we have." Ethan nodded, silently acknowledging her. "I feel it too," he admitted quietly, embarrassment washing over him. "I'm sorry for being distant. I know it hurt you when I didn't share my feelings." Hearing him say the words made the knot in her stomach loosen. "Thank you for saying that. I'm sorry, too. I allowed my fears to mislead me, and instead of connecting with you, I pushed you away," Sophia offered, feeling a wave of relief. As they spoke, the tension that had weighed heavily began to lift. They decided to sit down together at the kitchen table, not just to talk but to listen. Sophia shared her feelings about loneliness and longing for connection. She expressed how his distance made her feel abandoned, mirroring past relationships that left scars. Ethan listened intently, absorbing her words while reflecting on his own struggles to cope with vulnerability. Slowly, Ethan opened up about his need for space and understanding that sharing didn't equate to weakness or burdening her. "I've always pushed away my feelings because I thought they would ruin everything," he admitted. "But I see now that keeping things inside only made it worse." In a moment of mutual honesty, they both offered apologies for their missteps in communication. With the kitchen filled with a hopeful atmosphere, they explored new ways to connect. Sophia suggested they read a self-help book together on communication in relationships, and Ethan was open to the idea, eager for guidance. "Let's learn how to navigate these storms together," he said, a sense of determination glimmering in his eyes. They set a plan to hold weekly talks. During these times, they would share what was on their minds without interruptions. This open-ended connection felt different, like inserting a new layer of strength to their bond. It turned from wanting to simply address immediate issues into laying a stronger foundation for the future. Feeling a warmth grow within, Sophia realized how great it felt to address fears head-on instead of walking on eggshells. They had taken a big step, transforming conflict into opportunity. In that moment, with their hearts laid bare and a new sense of purpose guiding them forward, they understood their relationship was worth fighting for. As they cleaned up the breakfast dishes together, the warmth of companionship returned, flickering brighter than before. There remained plenty of challenges ahead, but now they both carried a renewed commitment to simply embracing their feelings instead of allowing miscommunication to overshadow their connection. Today was a turning point, an action taken in the name of love, reconciliation, and a promise of growth. As the days turned into weeks, Sophia and Ethan began to embrace the new efforts they had promised each other. Together, they chose to prioritize better communication and vulnerability in their relationship. At first, there were moments that felt a bit awkward, but they both understood that change would take time. On one particularly overcast Saturday morning, they decided to have a discussion about what they had learned from the self-help book they were reading together. They sat on the couch, warm mugs of tea in hand, but an air of nervousness lingered about them. Sophia was excited to share her thoughts but worried about how Ethan may respond to what she had to say. "Okay, I think reflecting on how to share our feelings is important. I remember reading about the 'I feel' statements," she began, nervous fingers dancing around the mug's edge. "For example, instead of saying, 'You never listen,' I could say, 'I feel ignored when you look at your phone.' What do you think?" Ethan shifted a bit on the couch, taking her words seriously. "That makes sense," he replied, but there was a hint of apprehension in his voice. "I guess those statements can help me understand where you're coming from without feeling attacked." "I feel attacked," she joked lightly, trying to ease the sudden tension. "Just kidding. But I see how it's easier to focus on feelings rather than blaming." Despite their light banter, the anxiety of trusting each other with raw emotions still lingered. In the days that followed, they made an effort to share small details of their days, from work frustrations to random thoughts. However, there were moments when old habits re-emerged. One evening, while watching TV together, Ethan felt the urge to retreat into silence, his phone in hand, scrolling through social media instead of engaging with Sophia. "Ethan," she called out gently. "Can we talk? I missed you today." At first, he was taken aback by her request, feeling as if the weight of their past tensions surfaced again. He hesitated. "I just thought we could relax. But I'll put my phone down." Even though he complied, he felt a twinge of irritation wash over him. He didn't want to be forced into emotions that felt complicated. Sophia noticed the change in his mood and felt the sting of disappointment. The struggle to overcome their established routines made the process frustrating at times. However, she reminded herself this was part of the journey they were on together. It wasn't all smooth sailing. One Saturday evening, they planned a cozy dinner at home. With candles lit and soft music playing in the background, Sophia decided to be brave. During dinner, she looked Ethan in the eyes, wanting to share what was in her heart. "You know I love cooking together, but I also love it when we don't just stick to the usual. I feel excited when we try new recipes or explore new places." Ethan felt warmth fill the space between them, and a smile tugged at his lips. "I love it too, Em. I think we can start adjusting that routine. Let's push ourselves to try new things together." Encouraged by her willingness to express ideas, Ethan paved the way for himself to be more open as well. "I also want to be more mindful when we talk. Sometimes, it may take me a moment to process, but I want to meet you halfway." Although the journey to change remained rocky, Sophia and Ethan still uncovered growth within one another. They handled the awkward moments with forgiveness and compassion, learning to appreciate progress over perfection. Each day brought new evidence of their commitment to one another, reminding them that love was not just about blissful moments but also overcoming challenges hand in hand. The atmosphere around them felt promising, and they both started to realize how healthy communication could illuminate each of their paths. A few weeks later, the vibrant colors of fall began to paint the world around Sophia and Ethan. The trees were heavy with gold and orange leaves, and a fresh crispness filled the air. It was on a sunny Saturday that they decided to spend the afternoon exploring a nearby apple orchard. The day was filled with laughter, smiles, and the sweet scent of ripe apples. As they walked hand in hand through the orchard, a feeling of warmth bloomed between them. The simple act of picking apples sparked memories of their early days together when everything felt lighthearted and easy. "Look at this one. It's perfect," Sophia pointed out, cradling a shiny red apple in her palm, her eyes sparkling with delight. Ethan chuckled, heartened to see her so happy. "Let's make a pie tonight." "I'll handle the crust," he exclaimed, mimicking a chef's pose. Or are you going to pull your Master Chef card again? I won't share my secrets so easily, she retorted playfully. As they moved from tree to tree, their laughter blended with the soft whispers of the breeze. Moments later, they found a cozy spot on a grassy hill to rest, and sat down to enjoy the sun warming their faces. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling comfortable in the silence that enveloped them. It wasn't an awkward stillness but rather a peaceful space filled with an unspoken connection. Yesterday, I was thinking about what we've been through, Sophia began, her tone thoughtful. We've kind of had a rough patch, but I'm grateful for how we handled it. I feel that we genuinely talk now rather than just brushing over things. Ethan nodded, reflecting on the transformation they had undergone. I agree, Em. Just a few weeks ago, I wouldn't even have known how to explain what I was feeling. But now, I find it so comfortable to just share. You make it feel safe. A sense of vulnerability started to surface anew. As Sophia admitted, I used to think that being open about my feelings made me weak, but you've helped me see that it's actually a strength. Ethan smiled warmly, his eyes shining with newfound appreciation. Honestly, I felt the same way. Every time I avoided being open, it made me feel even weaker inside. Now I get how important it is to be honest with each other. It makes us stronger. Finding renewed strength in one another, they leaned into their conversation, sharing fears, dreams, and simple moments of joy. They talked about travel plans, toasted marshmallows over bonfires, and even discussed their thoughts on the future. Dreams that had once lingered silently began bubbling to the surface, becoming tangible. As sunlight began to dip low in the sky, the atmosphere shifted into something more intimate. Ethan took a breath, the weight of the moment settling in. You know, Em, I used to feel really scared about sharing my feelings because I didn't want to hurt you. But now, knowing that we can communicate helps me feel closer to you. It feels like we're a team again. Sophia felt her heart soar at his words, realizing how their struggles brought them to this moment of connection. Yes. It feels so good to know we can still laugh and share silly things while also talking openly about the harder stuff. It almost makes the challenges feel worth it. They sat quietly, absorbing the shift in their relationship. Every laugh shared and each word spoken contained a strength that bound them closer together. What had once felt emotionally rocky transformed into the solid ground of companionship and love. Throughout their day in the orchard, Sophia and Ethan recognized the changes within themselves, and the relationship felt like a new, vibrant community built on the lessons they had learned together. They finally felt that tender warmth and solid safety between them again, turned toward a promising horizon side by side. As winter approached, the world around Sophia and Ethan transformed, dusted with soft layers of white snow. Inside their home, a warm fire crackled, filling the room with cozy light. This winter felt different for them, filled with new hope and stronger understanding. They had emerged from challenges that had once felt overwhelming and were now embarking on a new path together. One chilly Sunday afternoon, they sat at their kitchen table, planning their upcoming New Year's resolutions. Where once there had been tension and silence, laughter now filled the air as they bounced ideas off one another. I want to take up painting more seriously this year, Sophia announced, her eyes glowing with excitement. I know I've talked about it before, but now I really want to try. Ethan smiled, pride welling within him. He watched as Sophia shared her creative dreams, knowing these moments were once hidden beneath shyness and self-doubt. I think that's a great idea. I'll support you however I can. How about we set aside one weekend each month for you to paint? That suggestion made Sophia beam with happiness. And I want you to set a goal too. What do you want to work on this year? Ethan felt a tingle of anticipation as he considered his options. Honestly, I want to work on my fear of public speaking. At my job, I keep passing up chances to speak at meetings, and I know I need to grow. He made eye contact with Sophia, feeling a renewed sense of trust in their bond. We can practice together? Absolutely, she exclaimed, feeling buoyed by their connection. Maybe we could host an open mic night here? You can share poetry or anything from your heart. I could help organize the event. The shared goal felt like a fresh beginning for both of them. As they turned the folder of blank note pages toward one another, an idea emerged from Sophia's heart. How about we do something together? Let's write a few positive affirmations about ourselves and each other. It can be a way to celebrate our growth." Ethan nodded in agreement. This was a chance to affirm their love and strength, creating tangible reminders of their commitment to one another. With markers in hand, they began writing. "I am capable and strong," Sophia wrote on her paper, envisioning how far she had come. "I am brave and open to new experiences," Ethan wrote beside her, grinning as he completed it. Each statement painted a vivid picture of who they were and who they aspired to become as individuals and as a couple. As they finished writing, they shared each affirmation aloud, allowing the warmth of their words to wash over them. Sophia felt her heart fluttering, the anxiety of previous months fading. They had evolved from moments of doubt and uncertainty into a duo who felt confident in their love. When they were done, they taped the affirmations on the refrigerator. Every time they opened the door for a snack or drink, those words would greet them, reminding them of their promises and dreams. It symbolized not only their growth as individuals but also their commitment to facing the future together, no matter what challenges lay ahead. As the winter snow fell softly outside their home, Sophia and Ethan found solace in the quiet moments together. They understood now that love was not just the absence of conflict but rather the growth that followed. With fresh perspectives, confidence, and a shared foundation built on communication and trust, they welcomed the future with open hearts. Together, they embraced change, ready to explore all the adventures ahead.